Hello, and welcome to the set of the Star Inn, which is actually a pub in downtown Waterdeep, where we've come to meet with the famous Bugraft, Uncle Buggy. Uncle to the late, as in deceased, Grimbold Flange, last seen hanging by the face out of the mouth of the roper, and also the late, as in last in the room, last to the bar, etc., Sessions IPA. Stinky Buggy, as the crew like to call him behind his back, has just finished recording an exhausting collection of episodes in the warehouse and the doppelganger's lair, and we were hoping to catch him before he properly drains the bar dry and inevitably ends up in a gutter somewhere bemoaning what could have been. I'm just hearing from the production team through my ear mic that we do have a bit of a problem. Mr. Bugraft is having a moment and refusing to leave his trailer. Something about a jar of pickled garlic. Apparently they are the wrong size. Well, there you are. That's C-listers for you. Hopefully we will be able to catch up with him later when he's calmed down from his Princess Unicorn tantrum. Not all barbarian rages are conducted in the course of a battle by the looks of things. So let's get back to the action. Rate, review, blah 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 blah. Please enjoy episode 48, So Mushroom Babe. Could someone please throw a bucket of water over him or something?
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I am here with Paul and
Hello.
Dan and Graham and Johnny and
Hello.
Lucas.
Hello.
How is everybody?
Very well, thank you.
Fine.
Excellent. Graham, it's your turn to do a recap. If you could pick up very quickly, since it's only a few days ago.
Most of the time we explored the new treasure allocation system.
It was admin heavy.
Admin heavy, magic dice rolling.
Yeah.
Magic dice of magic dice rolling.
Yeah, the dice
I
of
thought
magic
that was
rolling.
okay. I think we need to iron out how that works, but I thought it was quite fun to kind of do.
Yeah, I think they could have almost
Basically,
predicted the
Dan
results.
blew all his money on trying to get the Ring of Protection. Got trounced.
I have to say I like the old system. Sorry.
I think it was fine. I mean, it was kind of...
But you can decide between you what you want to do. Sorry, Graham. Yes, there was a lot of admin.
a lot of admin,
I
and then we
interrupted
went
your-
to see Eligos, and we're in mid-conversation, having surrendered all of the interesting documents and being paid a substantial finder's fee, I guess it could be described as.
Yeah, you were paid by a grateful city for evidence about whatever it was that these doppelgangers were up to, hidden away in what may or may not become your new base of operations. We'll pick it up with Eligos. She says, how can I be of assistance? I think that's where we left things.
We'll say Hesty Testapod sent us.
Yes, I know.
So why did you ask then?
Well, I was
Imagine a child. Slap.
Yeah, I was being polite. I think it might have been a little off-putting if I had walked into the room and told you why you were here and what you knew. I thought I'd let you introduce yourselves.
I'm Bugraft, Uncle Buggy.
Who is this? Yeah.
Yeah. I smell very strongly
Yeah.
of garlic. A 60-year-old man, haggard barbarian hobbit.
Yes. Nice axe, she says. The Hesty's message was brief. And Hesty and I we've lost touch with each other over the years. Perhaps
You
the
had
best
falling
thing
out,
to do.
is my understanding.
I think that would puts it a little strongly. We both studied together at the Sorcerer's Spire under the Archmage Marcus Doombringer. Have you heard?
Oh, most powerful mage. I've heard of him as well.
But we've lost touch. Alessandra, you must explain to me how you've come to actually acquaint yourselves with these people. I sent Alessandra out here to, I have to admit, to watch you on your journey here, because I must admit, I was slightly concerned about Hesty's motivations in sending you to see me. Perhaps the best thing, since his message was so very brief, would be if you could tell me about why you've come to see me and what it is, if I'm getting the sense of Hesty's message right, what it is you have brought to show me. If you proffer the coffer. She picks her way through this chest of stuff that you finally remember that you brought with you. And she's interested in Theldric's journal that you recovered from the Temple of Banshivu. You've got those scrolls that you found in the Temple of Asmodee that belong to the Faceless One, or actually rather that you managed to decipher with the code key from the Faceless One. You've got all of the weird scribblings that you seized off Gralak Kerr, who is the weird levitating high sort of shaman of the Grey Woodsman, There are the bottles, there are the potions that you recovered from the lizard folk lair that have got little worms in, and there's the canister with the large green worm in it. And she's really interested in all this stuff.
I'll say to her, what do you know about Kyuss and the Age of Worms?
It is very interesting that you ask me. Your
Burple.
Burple, yes. Burple
And what do you
Purplish.
know of the Rod of Seven Parts?
Well, the Rod of Seven Parts, I think maybe something different. It is interesting. She picks up the demon horns.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She says these relate to the Wind Dukes and the Rod of Seven Parts. These horns, if I am right, belong to a fiend named Kizavidexus, who was destroyed by a Wind Duke called Icosiol on the fields of Pesh many thousands of years ago. The battle in which the Rod of Seven Parts was first used. Has Hesty talked to you about this already? Yes, it's interesting.
Bits and pieces.
How it relates to Kyuss, I do not know. I think we have pieces and scraps of different stories here. This, for example, she takes the silver box, which is kind of emblazoned with the design of the Queen of Chaos on it, and which has the talisman of the sphere in it, the artifact or whatever it is that you use to control spheres of annihilation. She picks up this again. This relates to the battle on the fields of Pesh. This is not related to Kyuss specifically. This is very interesting. So she kind of puts that back. She looks at you studies you quite sort of intensely, Burple. Are you interested in the Rod of Seven Parts? Are you? That's yeah. Okay. Well, that is interesting.
Do you know of the locations of any of the parts?
Well, that's rumoured to be. So there are people who say that at least one of the fragments of the rod were buried with some of the Wind Dukes up in the Cairn. This is where you've come from, yes? The Cairn Hills. But I mean, other people. I think Hesty's always been when we were young and we were studying together. He was always obsessed with this idea that these artifacts were up there to be found, and he's still up there, isn't he? The daft fool, pottering about in that backwater, fumbling around in caves looking for things that probably aren't there.
Backwater?
Well,
Backwater? It's it's a thriving metropolis. It's not Evenstar,
She gestured out of the window at the vast, sweeping vista of Evenstar lay before you, and she says, "This is where adventurers like you should be. This is where
the bins
destiny is
don't
created."
look very comfortable.
The bins aren't comfortable.
Well,
Right.
exactly.
And then she takes the other elements and she says, "Now these do relate to Kyuss. It's a very interesting question, Burple. This worm is a Kyuss worm. He is a deity, or was a deity, he was a master of the creation of undead. And these worms," she sort of walks over to the window, she holds up the canister so that the light catches it, sort of illuminates its sort of massive greenness. "These are the least dangerous of his spawn.
Oh, really?
If you're finding these anywhere, it means that his people are becoming more active in the area.
So what happened to
It's
Kyuss?
very dangerous. They are so horribly fecund. They spread like wildfire. The presence of these worms is very, very concerning." She kind of looks out the window.
We found lots of them. Some of them left by a black dragon.
There's something...
The lizard folk.
Oh, really? No, that's very interesting. Tell me more about that.
I can't remember the dragon's name. Someone else might remember it.
I'm
but
not entirely sure know the dragon's name? But the dragon basically tricked the lizard folk.
Icarius or something. It was again with an I.
Not Ilthane.
Yes.
Ilthane, that's
Yes.
correct,
That's
yes.
fascinating. Ilthane, that's a name I've heard associated with Kyuss. And the Ebon Triad. She holds up some of these pieces of paper.
Will we show her the glass vials as well with these worms in it?
The relationship between the Ebon Triad and the followers of Kyuss is the thing that is behind a veil to me. I cannot determine it. There is some...
Well, it seems to me like the Ebon Triad is... What do you mean you can't... I thought that when you combine the three gods, you get Kyuss, or is that not true?
No, that's not correct at all. No, that's
I see.
That's utterly and completely wrong in every single way. No, Burple, you're close. You are close to the truth.
Close, but really not.
I
not
believe
very.
that it is it is difficult to settle. But my understanding, my judgment would be, is that the Ebon Triad believe that this god that they are obsessed with creating out of their three component gods, if you like, of Asmodee, the Grey Woodsman, and Banshifu, that god cannot rise until the Age of Worms has begun, and Kyuss is the harbinger of the Age of Worms. That is what I think is the connection. So I think that there is a tie-in. I think there is a link between the followers of the Ebon Triad and the older cult of Kyuss. They are organising, involving each other in their schemes out of mutual advantage. But it is very difficult. Peering into this web, I cannot see an answer. I cannot see a pattern. The Age of Worms. It's known by many other names. The End Times, the Dark Age, the Eternal Ruin. It's an ancient set of prophecies. The transformation of the world. It's a time when life gives way to something else. Recorded. It's recorded. These scrolls are just scraps. What we need is there is a tome called. Have you heard of the Book of Vile Darkness?
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
It was
there. It is rumored.
3.5, I think.
Yes, it is. It was 3.5. It was carried really forward from the second edition, and in fact, the first edition as well. It's carried that there. It is understood that there are passages about the concerning the Age of Worms, and perhaps what we can expect if it's on its way. The Libris Mortis again. The Necronomicon concerns itself with the Age of Worms. They're also inscribed across the walls of ruins around the world. Around the world. I don't know why I said it like that. And also there are stories of the Age of Worms inscribed on the walls of temples. Cults and soothsayers have built their own theories. I've not seen so many references to it. Again, she's picking with this in one place from so many different disparate sources before. It is very concerning. Something is certainly building. Let me examine these materials more closely, and perhaps I will have more information for you. It will take me a couple of days that you can spend waiting for magic items to become available. And then suddenly she breaks off. Her head tilts up sharply. She says, "Do you hear anything?" And she walks over to the window and kind of stands looking out of the window for a bit with her head just tipped to one side like she's listening out for something.
Can we hear anything?
No, I mean, there might have been a noise from the street or something. She just seems a little on edge.
Do we want to shall I do a perception check?
Yeah, go ahead. You make a perception check.
Get a 9.
Okay, that's kind of in the middle. For what it's worth, you can't hear anything now. There's certainly nothing nearby or anything that would kind of give you suspicion. And she seems kind of okay after a second or two. She takes a moment and then she heads back and then she sort of goes, "Now, where was I? Tell me about your adventure since you joined us in Evenstar."
Well, we were attacked almost as soon as we arrived.
Is this? She looks sharply at Alessandra. Is this true?
Yes, they were attacked by members of the Triad.
The Ebon Triad. Yes, well, that would make sense. But somehow they must have known of your arrival.
Yes, I don't know how that happened.
Did we know it was the Ebon Triad? I don't think we knew that. Did you? How do you know that?
Presumably, she will have heard the news of the huge battle.
Well, she was probably following us, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have heard yesterday afternoon there was a disturbance in the. This was you. This was again. She was looking at Alessandra. This was you. I mean, you didn't come to. You didn't seem. You could have come to see me.
So basically,
I didn't have really much of a chance. I was following them, and
maybe you can tell me, Alessandra, why have you? You were asked to watch these. I mean, you are my welcome guests. But Alessandra was asked to watch you at a distance, but for some reason you seem to have acquainted yourselves with each other. How has this happened? Wasn't there a boy with you? Isn't he one of the, what's her name, Severiana's?
He was an ouch splinter.
An ouch splinter, oh yes, that was one of the reasons that I was one of the causes for my concern. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Carry on, Alessandra.
So they were distracted by being attacked by the Triad and the Chimera bomb at the carnival procession. And then there was an interaction with these doppelgangers. And they all got lured off into this warehouse. And I followed them. And I saw young Ouch Splinter. He disappeared at some point while they were remaining inside.
You know him, of course, don't you, Alessandra? She sort of looks like she's being a bit mischievous. She's sort of looking... She's got the canister with a worm in it. And she's sort of affecting to study it. But she's sort of got a little smile playing around. Young, it's Cuthbert, isn't it? Cuthbert out. You know him, don't you, Alessandra?
I know of him, yes.
You would. It's all related to him.
Oh, I would say that's very distant.
Very
distant.
It It is distant, but I mean,
we don't share the same surname. I mean, we're talking many
Cousins.
cousins away.
Well,
I've never. I might have met him many years ago at a kind of a party or something, but we'd never really moved in the same circles. And
okay. I mean, yes. I mean, it seems to suit you, Alessandra, to perhaps magnify your connection to the Outsplinters when you want. Anyway, and then to rather die. Anyway,
I've never met the matriarch. I've never met her.
She looks at the rest of you. You have nothing to worry about. She's not really connected to the family, but I do like to. I'm being mischievous.
She likes to wind me up.
Anyway, sorry, Alessandra, I interrupted you again.
Oh, that's fine. Young Outsplinter disappeared off. I decided to keep my focus on the rest of the party, so I followed them into the warehouse, and it appears they got themselves into some trouble with the doppelgangers. So I decided probably best to go and help.
Help? Wasn't anything to do with running away, was it? Sorry, help, let me out. There's a mind flayer in here. Help, please. Yeah. Otherwise I'm going to die. It's what I seem to remember.
That was an element of it, but I also
yeah. I mean, Proby. I think you're still a probationer in this group.
It seems like probations are developing between you already.
Well, they ran away. They ran away and left me with the doppelgangers.
Why did she think that?
I don't think we ran away. There
have been rumours of. There's been rumours of a gang of doppelgangers operating in the city for a while now. So you've done well. It seems like you. Well, you are to be congratulated.
So tell me,
a mind flayer. You mentioned a mind. Sorry,
we didn't kill the mind
flayer. An illithid.
Yes.
That's very concerning. Tell me about that then.
Well, there was one of those, and there was a room, and it had a special secret passageway.
Okay, that's vague and odd. And stream of consciousness. Nice, I like it. Yeah.
The doppelgangers had tattoos on their foreheads.
Yes.
In the shape of a spiral.
The shape of a spiral, which the doppelganger, the mind flayer, also had on his belt.
Aha. So you feel you infer that the doppelgangers were somehow enthralled to this mind flayer.
We think they must be part of some kind of gang.
Her hands under her chin. That's very interesting. We need to know more about this. Was there any other information? You were told even only very short time ago that you might remember.
There was a machine.
A machine.
Oh yes.
There was a machine that one of the doppelgangers had attached to it.
Yes, there was a machine.
We took.
Yes, there was a machine.
She sort of looks at that. She's like, "This is not my area of expertise."
But there was a machine, honest.
Yeah, but we if you remember, we took some parts off the machine that we felt could be used.
Yes, no, I remember specifically. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, so she looks at those parts. She looks at your parts, Barker, and she says, "I can't do anything with these." She says,
and they were the plans that they had. All the documents and the plans.
Tell us
which we handed over to the relevant authorities.
There was nothing else tying this mind flare to your doppelganger gang.
There was a scroll.
There was a scroll, you say?
There was a scroll with writing on it.
He says, slumping across the finish line, exhausted. There was a scroll.
There was a scroll.
You say,
which said,
"Oh, really? Yes."
Which is here.
Yes. Tell me about this.
I've got it here. I have it here. It says, "I have a task for you, Thrall. Meet me at the sewer junction beneath the cold forge."
Was it signed, Paul?
Signed by. It's got a spiraling tentacle symbol.
Oh, well, red.
Again.
Well, I know of a cold forge. The cold forge. It's in my mind, the back of my mind. I think there's a smithy. There's a metalworking house in Resined called the Cold Forge. Maybe that is what that references to.
Well, maybe we should go and check it out.
Maybe we should go
kick in some doors
in a couple of days once we've picked it up.
Well, you should rest and recuperate. Of course.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
And party a bit. We've been on the road for some weeks. We need to unwind.
Take a chill.
Okay, that's nice.
Meditate a bit.
Yeah. Meditate.
Yeah.
That's the word.
That's the one.
Just forget about all this story stuff for a couple of minutes, for a couple of hours. Yeah. And just have it.
Decompress.
Don't worry about having all of this stuff in your head. Yes, just kind of fighting for it. Yeah, absolutely. Just clear your head of all of these plot elements just for a minute.
What do you mean?
And
Clear it. That wasn't there in the first place.
Well, you must know. So we must find you lodgings. Alessandra, you must. You know.
I think we should. I think we should stay at the Star.
Can't we stay here?
Oh,
Star.
yes.
She looks buggy. She goes
Right next door.
I don't know that would be appropriate. The Star is just around the corner,
around the
and
corner.
it's a wise choice. And of course, Alessandra, you'll mention my name.
What's the frog
and you'll be
wombat
very
like?
well looked after. Oh, well, I mean,
Okay, well maybe not.
she looks buggy again. I mean, some of you might enjoy it.
How much is a room in the Star per night?
Oh, don't ask me a common question like that, Lucas. Jesus Christ!
If you've got enough money to stay there, you haven't shopped properly.
Yes, exactly. If you need to ask the price, you can't afford it. It's not expensive, Parker. That's your name, isn't it? Since we've not actually introduced it. Yes. Anyway, so yes, you stay at the Star for a couple of days. Let me ask a couple of questions. Let me look at this material. You can organise yourselves, and then perhaps Alessandra will know the time for you to push on. I would start, Alessandra. 1 second, Bonce.
Metal.
Will you fetch one of my municipal soft commissions, please? And he kind of wanders off. He comes back with a piece of paper, and she hands it across to Alessandra. Take this. It will permit you to explore the sewers. I would imagine that that would be the place to start. Somewhere around the Cold Forge Smithy in Resonate. That's where I would start your search.
Okay.
You can have a couple of days of R&R, which we will fast forward through. You can stay
Can
at the
we
Star.
ask her a
It's very
couple more
nice.
questions about the ouch splinters?
It's very nice meeting you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You have. Sorry, Parker. Yes, you have a question about.
Sorry,
the
what's that?
splinters.
The
I won't.
argument? Or...
I won't pretend to be an expert on these people, but I'll tell you what I know.
So why do we think that Cuthbert suddenly decided that he didn't want to carry on with us and ran away? I don't understand this.
Parker, this is not something I can help you with. I can't pretend to understand the thinking in these instances. I'm sorry.
Okay. And the ouch splinters, are they the mafia of this town, or
Yeah.
how much influence do they have in this town?
The mafia. Oh, okay. If you mean, are they
A band of
Organised crime.
scoundrels.
Okay, organized crime, yeah.
It's very easy to characterize an organization like the Outsplinters in such a way, but they're not just criminals. They operate at every level of society, in business, in commerce, in politics. Yes, they are not a family to be crossed.
Are they the
Severiana is a
only
formidable
family, or do they only control a part of the town?
Well, it's not so simply geographically territorial. It's difficult to characterize it like that, Parker. There are multiple interests in Evenstar.
Okay,
There is the order, there is the regiment, there is the municipal government, there are families, there are trading houses. Each has their own areas that they feel strongest in, both geographical and commercial. But I would not characterize it. If you are feeling your way, Parker, towards an idea whereby you cross one street and you are in Outsplinter territory, for example, and you cross another street and you are not, it is not as simply demarcated as that.
No, I understood that, but I was just interested to know whether they were like the only syndicate family in the town, or whether there were several. And
it's difficult to characterize these things, and I don't wish to be mischievous or overdramatic, but they are the only family in Evenstar or in all of the hinterlands, Parker, who have a direct connection with these. And she picks up the demon horns that she said belonged to the fiend called Kyuss Videxus.
Mhm.
Their bloodline runs back uncounted thousands of years, and who knows what
Right.
lies in that family.
Right.
But it is best to be very, very wary around the Outsplinters.
Oh, lucky we got rid of one then.
Kidar Fedexus.
Anyway,
Where is the
It was
nearest
lovely to meet
Temple of
you.
Misfortune?
Who's Kid Arphidexus? What's Kid Arphidexus?
Kyuss Videxus was a demon that she said was slain by a
Right,
cozy on
that's
the
the
fields
name.
of Pesh,
Okay. I
and
didn't
those
get
are the
the
horns
name.
that belong to it,
Right.
by the Rod of Seven Parts. at the danger of laying it on with the trowel, it was the demon that was portrayed as having one green and one grey eye in the tomb of Zosiel all those
Right.
days ago.
Right.
Right. Okay. There we are.
Anyway, it was lovely to meet you.
And
thanks for
we're
that.
trying to work out where's the nearest Temple of Misfortune.
The Temple of Misfortune?
Yes.
Surely you know your own faith.
Well,
Sections.
I don't know the city.
But famously, Misfortune does not have temples.
Oh, right, fair enough. I'm new.
I knew that. Oops. Trick question. Just testing you.
just testing. So the nearest casino.
Precisely, yes,
That's what I
exactly.
meant, that's what I
Exactly,
meant.
Sessions. Sorry, yes, of course, I'm misunderstanding. Yes, Misfortune is worshipped wherever dice are rolled and cards are dealt.
That's where I'm going.
Okay, fine. Off you trot. Sessions, you want to go visit the gambling halls in order to honour your god.
Yeah.
Fine. Anybody else want to do anything like that?
I'm going to tag along with Sessions in a sort of like, explain to me again this game with these cards thing. Go on.
Okay, yep.
I'm going to go to the star.
You're going to go and
I'm going to
organise
Star.
lodgings. Yeah, well, I mean, they
lodgings.
know you, and you can organise a set of rooms. I think it's somebody. I mean, it's the standard rate, whatever it is. You can cross it off. Yeah, we're not going to get into some awful bookkeeping thing. Burple?
Well, I'm not comfortable, staying in that building. So
No.
feeling a little,
There is a centre of worship of the Standing Wave.
Is there?
You could, yeah.
All right,
It's
we'll
called-
go there.
It's called the Serenity Retreat.
Right.
It's about the most annoying place on earth.
Right.
Hearth.
It's
right,
all
it's right
like,
up at the
it's all muesli and crystals. And
I think muesli,
Bath-
if you're lucky, isn't it? It's like celery.
bathrobes, like white robes folded up when you arrive, and sort of rather tight smiles.
Tight smiles,
yes.
eh?
And
Hello-
menthol
hello,
smell
sir.
all over the place.
So you come in to worship the Standing Wave. Well, let's find you. Pop in. Can you just pop your top off? Go into one of the booths. If you want to sleep rough, you can do.
Can I?
The best place to sleep rough, though, is in Paddock, which is the little bit of the town. It's inside the main city walls, but it's divided up. It used to be a little bit of the town that was where all of the merchant caravans and stuff who didn't want to pay the fee to come inside the town proper, right, would organise themselves. But it's become so instituted that it now has walls around it. And
What
you
say
can
we buy you a tent, Burp?
you can pitch up there with a tent. You can do whatever you like.
Right,
It's a free.
I must be able to buy a bin from someone.
Yes.
Suppose
So
a
let's
tent
assume
will do if I can't find a bin.
you could buy a bin. You could buy a bin, or you could get some a refuse box or something.
A refuse box.
A refuse box. Yeah.
Excellent.
Or you-
Thanks.
Yeah, or a septic tank.
Nice.
And then
I'll get
Buggy,
myself a refuse box.
Buggy,
Buggy-
are you hanging out with the others?
I'm going to is it the Star?
You can go to the Star. Yep.
And I'm going to order lots of ale. Get
Okay.
very
so you
drunk
can go very
and start
fine.
fights with the locals.
Brilliant. Okay, so Burple goes off to visit the Serenity Retreat of the Standing Wave, and then goes to find a bin to live in. Sessions goes to the gambling halls with Parker, and Buggy.
Who's going to annoy him with questions about
Yeah.
how to
Yeah.
play card
Well,
games?
and
Well, my
Buggy-
intention is to pay as
one more
little
question.
money as possible and have all the free beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, yes, absolutely, yeah, high rollers. And then Alessandra and Buggy hang out at the Star. Alessandra, sober, Buggy.
Alessandra's
Not.
not going to hang out anywhere near Buggy.
Well, that's fine. You can. It's a big place. Buggy, yeah, okay. I understand what Buggy is doing.
I'll just sit in the corner and
I think you've had
pick
enough
fights.
I haven't done it.
Oh,
I haven't done anywhere near enough. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
You're my best mate, you are.
Oh, I love you. I do. I love you. But you find the Star is quite posh, Buggy, but it is a haunt of the kind of slightly more discerning adventurer. So you can surely find some drinking companions. And it takes a couple of days for the items that you've ordered in the gambling halls to arrive. And then what are we going to do?
We're going to go
Go
down
to
the.
this forge.
Quickly add them to our character sheets.
We're going to go to the sewers.
Yes.
Okay, somebody give me an intelligence check.
I think we're all a bit thick, aren't we?
Intelligent, yet not the smartest.
No, but we'll give it a go. Oh, a 6.
Burple with your 14.
Purple.
Purple herpish.
As you potter about town, doing what you do, abstracting this, you may get into a couple of kind of conversations with people, passing the time of day. What are you doing in town? You don't reveal anything particularly sensitive. But at one point, you talk about, or you raise the question of the yellow deposit that you saw on the feet of those figures with the mind flare. Again, I'm also abstracting. I'm presuming that you're not specific. You just sort of say, I wondered about, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And what you learn with your successful intelligence / gather information check is that this stuff is called beggar's gold, and that it is a fungus that grows in the outflow of forges and smithies.
Right.
Oh.
It just ties in with this idea that Eligos remembered that this mention of somewhere called the Cold Forge in the scroll that you found left with Telarkin the doppelganger.
Where is this? Where do we find this runoff? Where do we find this sewer?
Well, I mean, the Cold Forge is in Resined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
you
near
covered
a
that.
dog
So just
or
south of where we
temple? The Temple of Tonge.
Yeah, south of the Temple
15
of Tonge.
fingers.
Well, the 15 Fingers is a very disreputable tavern that Uncle Buggy would be extremely comfortable in.
So is it near a trader's or?
It's quite near Trader's Gate, quite near the walls. It's an
off
area
we go.
where they've been. Alessandra, give me an intelligence check.
16.
16. You remember, Alessandra, that there's always stories about the sewers in Resined. That it's rumoured that the urban myth, or maybe it's not a myth, is that somehow in the kind of Resined district, the sewers interface, as it were, with the dunge proper, more than they do elsewhere in the city. You know about commissions, right, Alessandra?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want me to tell you about commissions?
Don't we have one? We've just
yes,
been
you
given
do. You have what's called a soft commission, but Alessandra can tell you.
Commissions are required to enter the dunge. Of course, many brave freebooters ignore this rule. There are, broadly, two types of commission. Commissions of action are issued by the order on the authority of the Great Matriarch. They cover explorations in the depths, the deeper halls and warrens. Municipal commissions, known as soft commissions, are issued by the Evenstar City Council for civilian purposes and normally only extend to the shallows, those areas of the dungeon near the surface, often connected to the sewer system. There you are.
Thanks very much.
We've got
Alessandra
soft
sounds like a
commission.
blast, doesn't she?
Oh, she's very
Yeah,
interesting.
It was a great night out.
Yeah, we're still not sure whether we want her in the party.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
She
All
brought
right.
her way in.
Just her surname isn't Outsplinter. Maybe it's PowerPoint. I don't know. You have to kind of have a bit of a snootle around in Resined to try and find a way into the sewers. Alessandra, you're DC 50. You're 15 on your check. Yes, you do know that there are rumours about how closely connected the sewers in Resined are to the dungeon proper. You also remember a specific instance, or at least the rumours of a specific instance a few years ago, where a chapel of Asmodee was discovered by a group of adventurers who were working under the terms of a soft commission to clear out a bit of sewer area that was causing trouble to the locals. And they found a chapel of Asmodee down there that connected into the dungeon proper. So it sounds like this is the sort of thing that might kind of fit in terms of what you're up to.
Yes. So we need to find it.
Yeah, it's a sizable area. Give me a couple of stealth checks. I'm saying that you can identify a couple of gratings that will get you down into the sewer, but they are... And I'm also saying that you can find a grating that is sitting in an area that's not particularly well observed. But let's just see...
18.
We don't want to get into the terrible detail of this with floor plans and stuff. But I would say that if you sniff around the area of Resined, you obviously can identify where this business, the Cold Forge, is located.
Mm-hmm.
And with a couple of decent stealth checks that mean that you're not detected as you observe the premises, you can find a grating that will get you into the sewers near there, without being observed. I think that's a fair enough kind of estimation.
Okay.
And you find yourselves in the sewer system. Resined is one of the oldest districts of the city, and the sewer system is not the award-winning Bazaljet standard sewer system that you find in Nine Deeps. But you can work your way through the tunnels effectively sort of trying to orient yourselves at street level, yes, with getting yourselves into and under this cold forge area. And it doesn't take you very long before you find yourself in an extended passageway. You're sort of sloshing along. It's the standard, not sewers in the real world, sewers in the D&D world. Have you noticed how sewers, I don't know what sewers in the real world are like, I'd never go in one, right? But sewers in the D&D world are always like 5 foot wide with a 5 foot wide walkway on either side.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's the kind of, it's something like that is where you find yourself.
Well, that's the big sewer, isn't it? The small sewer only has the walk on one side.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Well, let's, let me lay out a map for you. Let me lay out
Ooh, different map.
You find yourselves following a sewer passageway when you discover something that seems untoward, as it were, something that's out of the ordinary.
Is that what Bugraft at the front?
Yeah, it's Bugraft. It's Bugraft.
I'm going at the front, right? Good.
Okay.
Which way is it the front?
You find yourself at a T-junction in the sewer system, and as you reach this T-junction, you've got the main sewer way channel extends off to your east and west, off into the darkness. Yeah, even with your dark vision, it just heads off. But not sort of almost opposite this junction, there's an opening in the north of this sewer wall, and it is covered in this beggar's gold fungus.
Do we know that this beggar's gold fungus, is it poisonous in any way? Is it something we have to worry about?
Yeah, I know. It's the sort of question that you ask. Yeah. If only you'd asked me before.
Well, we'll go out and ask somebody.
Yeah, no, you don't know that it's in and of itself.
Someone random in the street. Excuse me. Stop someone at random.
Yeah, this fungus on the end of your finger. Is it dangerous?
Boff. Slap them.
Who are you? Why are you here? Wait, never mind that. Answer this.
Yeah, chew on this. How do you feel?
What's it taste like?
Oh, it tastes like gold.
Chicken.
Tastes like gold chicken. Yeah, no, there's a large patch of beggar's gold festooning the entrance to what looks like a sort of more rough, kind of cave-like opening in the northern wall of this sewer. Mm-hmm. What would you like to do?
Right, well, I think Probe 1 Alessandra should go and check things out. If that's all right with everybody else, I don't know.
Yes.
Go and probe ahead. Probe.
I mean, Bugraft, you don't mind if I go at the front, do you?
No, it's okay. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. I'm going to go and take a look. I'm going to go and do things stealthily.
You trying to be quiet? Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Give me a stealth check.
Prodding the ground as we go.
There's quite a lot of background noise for you to
20.
hide behind because this sewer is active. It's deep, it's ancient, but it is active, and there is quite a lot of runoff water flowing through it. So as long as you're relatively careful, there's quite a lot of background noise for you to mask yourself against.
Okay.
Does Alessandra got dark vision?
She's an elf, so yes, she has dark vision.
Okay, well, when you reach the edge of this passageway, this kind of entranceway, you're peering into a cavern. It's got rough walls.
Just before you go too far, how many hit points does Alessandra have?
She maxes out at 45.
45.
There is actually, Alessandra, when you reach the entrance, not where in the area of the cavern that you're looking at, but you can now pick it up with your dark vision, or you pick it up with your regular sight. There is a very faint, sort of almost phosphorescent illumination coming from this cavern. Leads up to the north away from this sewer, and then seems to sort of curve around to the right and open up a bit. And off to the right, there might be the very faintest suggestion of some sort of phosphorescent illumination coming around that corner. The floor is, especially after about 15, 20 feet into the cavern, is absolutely covered with this yellow fungus.
Okay.
And there are toadstools in it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, no sound, no nothing.
Okay. Alessandra's going to get a handkerchief or something and cover her nose and mouth with it.
Mm-hmm.
Before she moves, I'm going to cast Aid.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we've got Alessandra and Bugraft, who are standing at the entrance to this cavern, and Parker, Burple, and Sessions are sort of hanging back a tiny bit in the main sewer. Yep.
So I'll do Aid on Uncle Buggy, Parker, and
Thank you very much. +5 or +10?
+10. And
Lovely.
I'll do Alessandro as well.
Thank you very much.
+10 hit points.
Yeah. Maximum hit points up by +10.
Wow.
Very nice. Okay.
That lasts 8 hours.
What about Bugrov, Parker, and Burple?
So what have we seen through there? Just a sort of...
Well, you can see
Roughly.
Alessandra standing, looking north into this
Has she
cavern
reported
entrance.
back that she's seen anything? Or
I don't know. She's trying to be quiet, so probably not. I
Okay.
would have thought if she's been making stealth checks.
She's trying to be quiet, and
I'll move
she
up.
wants.
So Burple, you can see with your dark vision into this cavern, and if you stand at the sort of far side of the entrance, you can see a little further in. Obviously, you can see that it seems to continue opening up to the east, and that the floor is covered in these mushrooms and this yellow fungus.
Beggar's gold.
Beggar's Gold, all around you, where you are, around the entrance, and then there's a sort of planar area, and then there's yellow fungus all over the floor as the cavern opens up, and then mushrooms dotted within it. What about Parker?
Well, I will move over there to between Burple and Alessandra.
And anything from Buggy?
I'm going to cast a light spell on a pebble.
Okay.
I draw my Frostbrand and move into the passage.
Yeah, you can see about 20 feet brightly and about 20 feet dimly. Is that correct with your light spell?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that you're looking into a chamber that extends up. It opens out and then narrows again and extends up to your northeast. You can see that the vast kind of bulk of the chamber, the main bulk of the chamber, is absolutely covered in this yellow fungus dotted with mushrooms. Yep. And then it seems to sort of, dissipate, fade, and you've got more of a plain cavern floor after about 15 or 20 feet. And you can sense that cavern floor is narrowing, and you've got the impression of space behind that, perhaps a passageway or something running off. But the extent of your light spell won't show you any more. What about Alessandra? Let's go back around the table.
Alessandra's going to sneak and make her way forward.
Okay.
She's going to make her way to the edge of the
fungus patch.
She's got dark vision.
See a little bit more. You can just see around a little corner now that you're right up there. You can see in, and you can see the extent of the cavern proper. You can see that the cavern does narrow down into some kind of passage. You've got what, 60 feet of dark vision?
Yep.
It extends off in a narrow, I would say, I mean, it's not a passageway because it's a natural cavern, but it is a narrow little tunnel, that's a good word for it, that extends off to the northeast and continues.
Okay, she's only done some of her moves, so she's going to continue. She's whispering back to Bugroff what she can see, and then she's going to continue her move through the patch, but she's going to go very carefully.
Okay, so what do you mean by very carefully?
She's going to go at half speed, and she's going to go stealthy again.
Yeah, okay.
And she might want to... Could she do something like an athletics or an... I tell you what she might do, actually. Can she try and jump across this stuff?
Or all the way across?
Yeah.
No, God, we have to look up rules, don't we, to do that? I mean, really?
Jumping. Your strength determines how far you can jump. Long jump. When you make a long jump, you can cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump.
There you go. Strength.
Okay, so it's a 20-foot jump.
And I've got a 14 strength.
So you
won't make it all the way.
You won't make it all the way, but you can make it you can make it, 14, obviously 14 feet of the way.
Can we round up to 15 to make life easier?
Yep.
So I can make it to there.
Okay, you jump to there. As Alessandra's jumping to there, everybody else happy with where they are?
Yeah.
Okay, just
I'll
step
move
back a bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm going
As
to
the cloud of yellow mold spores.
As Alessandra lands in the yellow fungus,
Yellow
mold.
you set off a cloud of spores, Alessandra,
Oh, nice to know. Nice to have known you.
that burst around you.
Yeah.
And it looks like now that you're there, that there are two types of yellow fungus that you're dealing with. The beggar's gold fungus,
which is benign and lovely.
which is benign and perfectly fine, and then some other kind of yellow mold that seems to have just filled the area around you with spores. Also, Alessandra, when you land on that bit of ground, something happens. You think you hear a noise from the passage to the northeast, and a weird magical effect springs up around you.
Locking in those.
You are
spores.
Surrounded by a violet radiance. In fact, everything around you is surrounded by a violet radiance. But you can try and avoid it with a dexterity saving throw. So we're just looking at a big long list of saving throws that you have to make. And also what happens is that those of you out in the corridor, Parker, Burple, the area off to your west that you could see stretching off, as it were, ad infinitum with your dark vision, suddenly, about 30, 40 feet away from you, it just goes black. And the same happens in the passageway heading off to your west, where Bugraft and Sessions are peering or keeping an eye on it with their light spells. Alessandra, you've got to make
3, 4.
Alessandra, you have got to make a Constitution saving throw, and you've got to make a Dexterity saving throw. And just before you roll those dice,
Yes.
you hear the sound, a snick of what sounds like somebody clicking or cocking a crossbow in the darkness to the northeast behind you. And we will find out about those saving throws, and we will find out about the crossbow and the darkness in the sewers next week.
God bastard.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Hall of Harsh Reflections and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Hall of Harsh Reflections was written by Jason Bullman. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.